Hey YouTube, today I'm going to be replacing all the thermal pads and paste on my graphics card. I have the 3080 FTW3 Ultra from EVGA. I'm following this guide that I found on Reddit. I'm going to be doing all the new pads. I'm also going to do the back of the pad, the graphics card along the back plate. I've got the Kritical GPU custom kit. This has all of the exact cuts you need for the front of the graphics card, and then I'm gonna cut my own out of this 3mm for the back plate. Also have new thermal paste and all the cleaning stuff. I lapped my CPU a couple weeks ago and I forgot to take any benchmarks before and after to see if it actually helped, so this time I'm actually gonna do some temperature. As you can see here, this is just a base, like it's been running for a bit, but I haven't been doing anything, no games or anything, so this is just basically idle temperatures across the board here. I'm going to run 3D Mark here and do a, basically maybe a 10-minute stress test just to see how the temperatures get, how high they go, and then we'll do a before and after I tear this down. Alright, so I have 3D Mark open here. I don't have Port Royal or any of the other special things. I'm just going to run this Steel Nomad one. It doesn't have ray tracing or anything. But I just basically want to see what temperatures get to on the memory and the GPU core. So I'm going to run this, and then we're going to see what the temperatures kind of settle at after a few minutes of running. And then we'll take the GPU out and start disassembling. Alright, I've been running this this thing looping for like 10 minutes now, and the temperatures did not get too bad here. I don't think this is taxing enough for this, so I'm going to try to find another one that might be a little bit better that's free, because I want to push the temps to see what they get up to at their highest, because that's really not that bad. So let me try to find another one here. Alright, I ended up using Furmark here. I couldn't find another one that's going to work, but as we can see here, my temps have raised up a little bit, and this has been running for like 20 minutes. I don't think it's going to get any higher than that, so I'm going to turn this off, let it cool down for a minute, and take it apart. Alright, we got my graphics card out here, and as you can see, it is a graphics card. So I'm going to start taking off all these screws in the back plate here, including the X screws here for the core. There is supposedly little, in a few spots there is little nuts, like right there. I can't see, there's one there. So a couple spots there's going to be those, and you got to make sure you get them all. And then obviously when you go to take these off, don't be yanking on the wires because they are very fragile and they will rip right out. So I'm going to have to finagle all this out of here, grab the few spots with nuts there. Make sure they're all accounted for, because you can short circuit something if you forget one or lose it. And also you can't put it back together if you don't have them all. So I'm going to do all that. Alright, as we see here, I have my PCB unconnected here. I'm going to go ahead and clean up all of these old pads. We're going to do our best to be very gentle around the PCB here. We're going to clean up all this old grease, all the old pads. And then we're going to follow that guide, which I'll put in the link in the description, the guide that I'm using, and then also the pad kit that I have here. Alright, both my surfaces as clean as I can get them. I have my Kritical set out here. Based off the pictures in that guide, I'm going to put these on all our little bits and pieces here. And then we'll put the front back on, put the X bolt or the little X thing in place, and then we'll work on the back, which there's specific places. Normally the back doesn't come with any heat thermal pads, but according to the guide, he put them on in certain key areas where heat would be building up, and that'll hopefully help with cooling temperatures even more. One thing I'd like to note here is this is a custom set from Kritical. Kritical. It is designed specifically for this graphics card. Now, I don't know if this is okay, if they shortcut it, like they didn't cut it long enough, but you can tell on whatever these things are, these LR22s, that this piece does not cover the whole thing from top to bottom and side to side. And that's on both of those sets. The other ones, every single other one of these is perfectly fine, except that those two pieces. I don't know how big of a deal that is, but that is where this is at. Also, never noticed that there's another one of these LR22s right there, and that did not have a heatsink on it, or didn't have thermal pad on it at all from either end from factory. So, I guess I'm gonna do this, and hopefully that's okay. And yeah, but I haven't seen anything else saying anything different there. Alright, I have all my pads placed out. I've got some thermal paste on the GPU. I know it looks kind of overdone and quite an abundant there, but you gotta remember there's no IHS on this, so your core gets slapped right on there, and basically that's what you got. So I'm making sure there's plenty on there for cooling. These did stretch out a little bit as I was pulling the plastic retaining pieces off, so I guess they're good. They cover completely. I'm going to go ahead and slap my front back on, my heatsink, and then we're going to work on the back. Alright, we're all back together. All our screws are in. All our little nuts are in. We didn't lose anything. Every bolt is where it needs to be. I'm going to put this back in the computer. We're going to boot it up. Hope to God that it boots, because, you know, I was fiddling with something, so, you know, it could break. And then we'll, if everything boots up, we'll do a test bunch and see what our temps sit at after 20 minutes. Okay, I've had this running a bit. Everything's working. My temps have gone down. Altogether, I spent about $50 on all the thermal pads and paste. I don't know if it's necessarily worth it. My average temp went from about 66.6 degrees to 57 on the GPU. Memory went from 86 degrees Celsius to 68, so 20 degree difference, and then my hotspot maxed out at like 82 before. So, yeah, it's definitely cooler.